Go first.
Welcome to the Lovett Network. Today we have the Lovett School against North Atlanta in the first duel of the season. I'm here with sideline reporter Steve Allen and commentary by Christopher Mance. Chris, what are you looking forward to in this match?
Well, just to start the season off, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the offseason kind of is going to play into this first match, because there's been a real weird offseason, and there's not been a lot of opportunity to get in and work on fundamentals like some of these kids have been in the past. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how these kids get after it, see if they're going to score a lot of points, if we're going to see low-scoring matches, high-scoring matches, and just seeing how we roll into this season. Being that we're bringing back a state champ this year, several state placers. I mean, Lovett should have a really solid team this year. And I just want to see how that looks on the mat.
That's a good point. 2020 has been a different year for sports. Steve Allen, do you want to describe how we're going to do things different with COVID and the restrictions there?
Sure. Thanks, Joey, and thanks, Chris. Welcome, Lovett Wrestling fans. Listen, the fact that we're even here today is amazing. Who knew if we would be here in November? Being able to wrestle, given the state of affairs with COVID, but we're here. And part of this is a testament to the fact that we're all sitting around here with masks on. We've de-densified the number of fans that are allowed to be in the stands. You may be wondering how we can have a wrestling match given COVID. First of all, the wrestlers on the sidelines are wearing their masks. When they compete, they will not be wearing masks. The referee will have a mask on. Chris Lanishan is our ref today. He spoke with me a little bit before the match and talked about the fact that this is going to look very different from his perspective. He is going to keep his distance from the wrestlers, more than 6 feet away. He is going to have the wrestlers not shake hands before the match or not shake hands after the match. He will announce the winner, red or green, but he will not be raising their hands. And so it will look a little bit different from the referee's perspective and certainly from the fans' perspective to see that. It may seem a little strange to you, the fans, because they're not shaking hands and yet they're wrestling. So, but all this is an effort to keep, to sort of a tip of the cap to COVID, to be able to try to show some sort of care for this pandemic. And so there's masks, and yet on the mat, they're not in them. So, so everybody's doing their best to carry this season as far as we can. And looks like the wrestlers are getting ready to wrestle now. So I'll turn it back to Joey and Chris Mance.
Thank you, Steve. So we get started here in the first match. Junior from Lovett, Will LeCompte, is taking on Aiden Humphreys from North Atlanta. North Atlanta is coached by head coach Mike Hutchins. And from Lovett, we have legendary coach Billy Maldonado.
This is the 152-pound weight class, and let's get started. So we have 2-minute periods here, and we're getting into some hard hand fighting with the collar tie from Will LeCompte. And Will's taking ground here, pushing him, North Atlanta, to the edge of the mat. The referee wants to keep him in the center. We're back to some hard hand fighting. We're going to see a lot of wrestlers today in this position when you have a collar tie, trying to take ground, control the center of the mat, especially at the start of these matches. These wrestlers are trying to fill each other out.
Will has really set the tone of this match in being physical here. I like that from him.
We haven't seen a lot of level changes, but there goes one right there. We're in for a high crotch on the edge of the mat for Humphreys. Will's trying to get a hard sprawl there, but he can't fight it off, and did we get two? No, we're staying neutral. No takedown. That was real close. A quick shot in for Will, setting the tone off the whistle. We got the first point scored of the season.
It's a double leg takedown right there, and he's looking for a Turk right now.
And he loses that Turk. He's setting up a tilt here with that cross wrist. And you got Coach Maldonado calling for the roll through tilt, and he gets it. And we got swipes there from the referee.
That's 2 more points for Lovett.
So with 25 seconds left in the first period, we have a 4-0 match with Will LeCompte in the lead.
North Atlanta's going to start in the bottom position here.
Hard chop there from Will to start the match. Got him flattened out. He's sliding that bar arm in with the 1-on-1. He's looking for his power step to see if he can get some more swipes from the referee. And he's right there with it. He's getting that leverage there on the shoulder, and he's left. He's getting more back points. Wow, that's a strong first period from Will LeCompte.
Way to start off the first match of the first meet, Chris. Lovett came out here and set the tone of wrestling physical.
So currently we have a 7-0 match. LeCompte is really 1 point away from getting bonus points. 8-0, when you're up by 8, you get an additional point in a dual meet, which is considered a major decision. So he gets the escape off the bat. He's up 8-0. We're back to that hard collar tie, hard hand fighting. Another high crotch there from switch off to a double. Nice.
Big lift.
Big lift. We have a 10-0 match here. Minute and 30 seconds left in the second period.
Chris, this is where conditioning starts to come into play for these athletes. First meet of the year.
And he's trying to set up that head lever to a half. He wants to keep him in bounds here. Another hard chop on the edge of the match. Referee blows it dead, takes him back to the center of the match. We have a minute and 6 left in the second period.
Looking over at the North Atlanta quarter, that's Alan Kahn, former multi-time Georgia State champion, assisting with the North Atlanta team.
So Will, it goes right back to that chop to a bar, and he scored 3 back points off the same move in the first period. Let's see if he can get it again.
What's the key to getting this over, Chris?
You have to really get that leverage on the shoulder, just like he did there, and we look like we're going to have a fall.
Wow. Great first match of the season here. Now this is the big one we've been waiting for here. We've got Al Coy, defending state champion from Lovett, wrestling Seth Fagan from North Atlanta, who was a state qualifier 1 year ago. Fagan was warming the North Atlanta team up. He's the team captain here. He's a leader on this team. Talked to Coach Maldonado beforehand, and he expects this to be a very competitive match.
So we're wrestling from space. Quick shot from Fagan. Fagan with a lot of level changes to start off. Hard hand fighting, snaps, level changing. Dives in for that high crotch, but just a little bit too far away for Fagan.
I'd really like to see Coy's conditioning here. He's only been wrestling a couple of weeks after that state championship run in cross country Lovett had. He was one of the key contributors there.
And Coy is known for his scrambling ability. Let's see if he can get out of this deep high crotch from Fagan. He has his hands locked around Fagan's chest. He's trying to get leverage and scoot out, and it looks like we have 2 there.
How did he do that, Chris?
Wow. Now that's a classic example of Coy's scrambling ability. He was in, looked like he was going to give up 2, and he ends up getting the 2. He has Fagan flattened out. He's looking for that wrist. He's close to putting a leg in, but he's not quite there. He may be trying to set up, Coy may be trying to set up a cradle from here, or we got 25 seconds left in the first period. He finally puts that leg in.
He's trying to split him there.
Yeah, he's trying to get that banana split. This is a tight move. This is clearly Fagan's feeling a little bit of pain here. But he's holding strong. He's not giving up the back points. And there it is, the end of the first period. We have a 2-0 match for Lovett. North Atlanta defers. And Lovett's going to take bottom. Spiral ride to a chop for North Atlanta. He's setting up that cross wrist tilt. He's got Coy flattened out. Maybe coming under for a bundle, looking maybe for a Turk here. And Coy, there he is with that scrambling ability again. Dives through, gets a leg. This is exactly where Al wants to be. He's very successful in these type of positions. And Houdini's at it again. He breaks out, sprawls. Looks like he's going to get an escape here. We've got a 3-0 match with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the second period.
Now, this is a 138-pound weight class. Fagan's a big wrestler at this weight class here. You can see there's a size advantage here.
Another dive-in shot. Fagan's going to have to get a lot deeper to take down Al here. Hard hand fighting, back to the center. And we can see conditioning starting to potentially play a factor. Continue to snap that head. In on a deep shot again. We saw this in the first period, and Al was able to Houdini his way out of it. Let's see what he can do here with 19 seconds left in the second period. Same move. We got back points, 2 takedown, and 2 backs. Wow. Deja vu.
Just when it looks like he's going to give up the takedown, he's rolling the other wrestler from North Atlanta to his back.
So we should have a 7-0 match going into the third and see if they update the score. Yep, there it is. So Al Coy is up 7-0 starting the third period. We're going to start neutral. We're working from space. They're not tying in those collar ties like we saw in the first match. Front headlock from Fagan. Al's got elbow control. Let's see if he can drag out of it. This is kind of a 50-50 position here, and so far Al's been able to win every 50-50 position. But we got a nice throw by. Still nothing. Al's back in on that leg, and he's worked his way out of it. His scrambling shows, and we have a 9-0 match. Minute and 14 seconds left in the third period. We have a cradle locked up. This can be 6, a fall. Let's see. We got more back points. We already have a major decision with the 9-0 lead. Let's see if he can get the fall. No.
For those of you following, less than 8 points is a decision. That's 3 points for the team. More than 8 points is 4 points for the team. If you win by 15, that's 5 points for the team. In a fall, that's your ultimate goal in wrestling. That's where you get 6 points for your team.
And right now it's 12-0, and Al has another cradle locked up. If he can get another 3 back points here, he'll get that tech fall. And he couldn't keep his grip. He's at 16 seconds to try to get another 3 swipes. And he has it locked up again. There we go. There goes the swipe. There we go. And there we got it. We got a tech fall here from Al Coy, returning state champion. Starts his season with a tech fall. That's a great way to start for Lovett.
Great first 2 matches. A lot of action in both matches.
That was a tech fall.
I believe it ended up as 14-0.
Oh, he didn't get the 3.
He got a 3 count at the end there, so it's a major decision technically.
Major decision. So he's 1 point away from a tech fall.
So next up, we have the 106-pound weight class, which is the lowest weight class. We have a sophomore from Lovett, Jack Geegan, who's been in our program since middle school. Really tough wrestler here, and he's going to be wrestling Joseph Fari from North Atlanta.
Right to a collar tie, to a fireman's. Quick 2 off the whistle. That was great technique there from Jack. Goes to his half. Oh, we got a quick fall.
Geegan wasted no time on that. He got to work right away.
Wow, Lovett is on a roll so far.
Who do we have up next, Chris?
It looks like we have sophomore John Goodsell going against Marsh from North Atlanta. This is going to be the 110-pound weight class.
You know, Goodsell's been in our program since he was 5 or 6 years old. He's a veteran wrestler here. He's a conference champ in middle school, sophomore this year. This is a really big year for him. Steve Allen, you're standing next to a 2-time state champ from Lovett, Rocky Kaufman. What does he think about the start of this dual meet?
Well, we were just talking about that, and he feels like we're looking good, and it's a start to a great season for the Lovett Lions.
They're in that over-under position to start the match. Goodsell with the quick go behind. Now 2 yet, but he's right there. He has his 2, and he has that arm trap for a potential bar, and he lets it go. Let's see. Right into that bundle position. Flips North Atlanta over to his back and starts immediately getting back points. And this is close to a fall. Let's see if he can hold him there. And another quick pin from Lovett.
2 pins in a row. The Lovett lightweights have come to wrestle today. Next we have up returning state placer Alex Hyman, a sophomore from Lovett. He will be taking on Derek Pittman from North Atlanta. This is the 113-pound weight class. Hyman, another wrestler that's been at Lovett since and wrestled since he was in our kids program, all through middle school as well.
Quick shot from Hyman. Looking for a throw. 50-50 position. Hyman wins it immediately into his half, and we've been seeing that these last 3 matches, the Lovett guys getting a quick takedown and immediately throwing that half in. Alex slips a leg in. And Alex is figuring out what's he want to do, and he slips his other hand for a potential bland split, but decides otherwise. The North Atlanta wrestler is going to have to really work hard here to prevent giving up back points. And Hyman muscles over a half into a bulldog and has a tight hold there on the North Atlanta wrestler. It's going to be really difficult for him to, and we have another fall from Lovett. What an amazing start.
First 3 matches, you know, the ref's really in a difficult position to have to try to call a pin from that distance, especially without the singlet on there. So next up is Logan Lutz, 120 pounds versus Will Lazarus. Coincidentally, both of these wrestlers wrestled in our youth program when they were young, and they're familiar with each other. It should be a good match.
So we're into a tight collar tie, elbow control, hand fighting, and Logan's pushing Will to the edge of the mat with the hard snap arm drag to a front headlock to a cradle. Let's see if Logan can finish this cradle. He has it locked up tight.
Really needs to get his head in the side of the hip there, Chris, to get that turn.
And we got 2 takedown from Logan. Let's see if he can get back points out of this cradle position.
Yeah, he repositioned that head there. That was nice.
And we have a tight cradle locked up here from Logan. And another fall. Wow, that is the 4th pin in a row for Lovett.
I like how they're setting the tone immediately in these matches. We're making contact first. They're physical. And next up, we have freshman Jake Kennedy. Jake Kennedy's been wrestling with us since he was in 1st or 2nd grade. He's a former Kid State champ.
Multi-time Kid State champ.
Yeah, 2nd in middle school state last year. He's one to keep an eye on here. He's taking on Elijah Portman.
Kennedy wants to get in there tight, wrestle in the phone booth. Boom, in for a low high crotch.
Kennedy known for his physical style on his feet,
and
that shows right away.
First 20 seconds of the match, Kennedy takes control. Immediately in for a cross wrist, looking for a tilt, and he got it. And he has his 3 back points. And he cuts the North Atlanta wrestler and give an escape quick takedown and gets up 7-1. He's going to cut him again.
You know, sometimes, Chris, they do this, taking him down, letting him up, not just to get points, but to physically start to impose their will in the match and set the tone. And Kennedy's doing that right away here.
Yeah, that style of wrestling really tests your conditioning. And when you're being dominated, as well as having your conditioning tested, it just makes it so much more difficult to keep up with the high-scoring match. And
stack.
Another quick fall. Jake Kennedy just came out there with pure domination.
It's 5 pins in a row for Lovett.
I know right now the North Atlanta coach has to be thinking about having a quick talk with his team just to keep their morale up.
Yeah, it's 7 matches in a row where Lovett's come out here. Next, we're going to have Davis Metzger versus Harrison Mitchell from Lovett. This is going to be in the 132-pound weight class.
Harrison Mitchell is a 9th grader. So he's looking at his first match on the high school team. See how he does. He starts off with a hard collar tie, pushing the North Atlanta wrestler all over the mat, but gives up a leg. And North Atlanta is in there deep, but hasn't quite got to 2. There it is. So North Atlanta takes control of this match in the first 30 seconds. Metzger with the ankle to a half. He's trying to return Lovett back to the mat. He returns Mitchell back to the mat hard, but hard sprawl. This is a good position for Mitchell. Let's see if he can get his escape point here. He needs to keep stuffing that head and sprawling, and no, he gets a reversal to the back and get some back points as well. No back points there. It's close.
I think this is an example of these new COVID rules really not allowing the ref to be in position to make that call, because that was clearly at least 3 seconds on his back.
So Mitchell was down early. He gets a reversal, ties it up, has a deep half in, puts Metzger to his back. Wow.
Pin number 6 in a row for Lovett.
Harrison fell behind early, gave up the early 2, and does a complete 180 and gets the fall. Man, that's just an example of the momentum Lovett has right now. Even when being down early in a match, the momentum is just carrying them to these dominant victories.
Got to credit Coach Maldonado for having these boys ready for their first match.
So here we are at the 160-pound weight class with William Sharp of Lovett, a senior, versus Holden Cooley, a ninth grader from North Atlanta. Hard hand fighting to another high crotch. And that's something we've been seeing a lot from Lovett, right hand high crotches. A quick 2, again in the first 20 seconds of the match. Strong start from Lovett. Sharp has a leg in. North Atlanta in that quad pod position, trying to control his base, not get flattened out. And we have a kind of a leg and a ball and chain position. I don't know exactly what this move is, but it looks like he could potentially get some back points here if he can.
Now, why was the ref not counting there, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know if North Atlanta had broke the 45-degree plane. It was really close. It was probably more of a judgment call, but we have a cradle locked up. And it looks like another quick fall from Lovett. Wow. First period. Back to back to back to back to back to back.
That's 7 pins in a row.
Wow.
9 wins in a row. And we have sectional qualifier Finn Bresnahan coming up next. He'll be taking on Luke Sloan from North Atlanta. Finn's a junior here at Lovett.
And this is the 170-pound weight class.
We're getting to some of the big boys now.
Oh, he goes right in for a body lock. Drives him to his back. Wastes no time taking control of the match. We got a quick 2 immediately to his half. Nelson.
We saw that from the lightweights earlier. They transition to that half immediately when they get that takedown.
And Finn is charged up. He's really trying to be physical here and get another quick pin. He's trying. It looks like he's going immediately for his pinning positions. He doesn't quite have North Atlanta to his back the way he needs to get back points. Nothing. So far, it's still just a 2-0 match.
He seems to be rushing those turns a little bit. Sometimes slowing down in that half position helps to keep them there so they don't roll through.
Finn is definitely charged up after seeing all his teammates get those pins, and you know it's on his mind. He wants a pin as well. He just needs to settle down a little bit, and I think he'll be just fine. Still not quite breaking the plane, and now we finally get some swipes from the ref. And there we are with 30 seconds left in the first period. We get our first set of back points.
You think he goes back to that power half here, Chris?
I think it's very likely that's where he's going to. And we haven't seen the back points put on the board yet. There we go. 5-0 match, 29 seconds left in the first period. And we have Luke going to get a headgear adjustment from his coach. And Finn right now is just focusing on what he's going to do with these last 30 seconds in the first period. Is he going to go half? Is he going to throw a leg in? But you know what's on his mind.
He wants a pin.
He wants a pin. He wants to continue the momentum.
I mean, that's the ultimate domination in wrestling, is getting that fall, getting that pin. And that's the goal of every wrestler that steps out on that mat. Coach Maldonado giving some last-minute advice to Finn before they take them out again. Just a quick shout out to the Lovett Instagram and Lovett Twitter accounts. You can follow Lovett Athletics. That's Lovett Athletics on both Instagram and Twitter to get updates for all the Lovett teams.
And here we go. He goes immediately to a chop. Snap back. Can we get a quick back? No back points. Power half, just as you predicted, Joey. stuffs it hard, and this one looks
Takes his time
tight.
this time.
Very tight. 10 seconds left in the first period. And we get a foul call with 6 seconds left in the first period. Wow.
I got to think that Coach Maldonado told him to settle back and take his time on that half. You could see those back points were there and that pin was coming. Just needed to take his time a little bit and not rush it. Next we have sophomore Aiden Bear Kaufman versus Dawson Sharma from North Atlanta. Aiden, another wrestler that came through our youth and middle school program.
And this is another match in the 170-pound weight class. Let's see if Aiden comes out as aggressive as Finn. And he goes for that same body lock that Finn started with, but can't quite get there. Gets a snap to a knee latch, step around, to it back. Quick 2.
Aggressive.
Here we are. Wow. 18-second pin from Bear Kaufman.
That's 11 wins in a row, and I believe 9 pins in a row.
This is an impressive showing for Lovett. Coach Maldonado has his team prepared today.
What the fans can't see online is that our next opponent is in the stands watching. You know that coach and those wrestlers are keeping an eye on what's going on in this first match. So next up we have Adams Hall versus Mitchell Arellano from North Atlanta. Adams is a sophomore at Lovett.
And we've come back down to the 132-pound weight class. Hard snap to a go behind. There we have our first 2, and he goes to that half right away. And see, it's tight. This is a tight half. This is looking like another quick fall.
You see a familiar pattern here. Break the takedown directly to the half. You got another pin in less than 30 seconds.
Now, the half Nelson is probably the first pinning combination a youth wrestler is taught. It's one of the most basic but effective wrestling moves. And clearly, the Lovett team has spent a lot of time with the details on that particular move, and they're getting a lot of falls.
For sure. And at 132 pounds, we have our next matchup here. We got Andres Sosa, a freshman from Lovett, taking on Gavin Rohr from North Atlanta. North Atlanta looking to turn the tide at some point during this match.
Taps. We start North Atlanta coming to being physical this match. Hard snaps. Snaps, love it to the mat hard. Sosa's got his elbow control, but he's going to have to get his head up off the mat if he wants to not give up this 2 points. North Atlanta spinning. This is a 50-50 position here. Anybody can score. North Atlanta is taking the advantage by getting to that ankle. If he can hit hard, he's going to get his 2. And there we go. Another fast start from North Atlanta that they've been looking for. We got a minute left in the first period. And North Atlanta is looking to turn the tide. They have the half in this time. This is a unfamiliar position for Lovett. And that half is in deep for North Atlanta. It's a deep half. He's gotten his back points. And North Atlanta is looking to hold it here and potentially get their first fall, and they do it.
And North Atlanta gets on the board here.
So we've had all first period pins in the last 10 matches. All the falls have come in the first period.
This is not a typical wrestling match in that front.
Not at all. I think we've only had one match go the distance so far.
Next we have David Gupta, a freshman from Lovett, versus Billy Nelson from North Atlanta at the 138-pound weight class.
North Atlanta's got a real low stance here, and he's able to get underneath David. And we get to 2 on the edge. So North Atlanta starts up 2-0 in this match. Minute 43 seconds left in the first period. Caution from North Atlanta. Gupta can't get a quick first move. North Atlanta again running that half. That half, Nelson has played a dominant role today. North Atlanta picks up back points, and Gupta's doing his best to fight off his back, get to his base, and he does.
Good effort from Gupta fighting off his back there.
Back to the half for North Atlanta, and again, he uses the same half, Nelson. And Gupta continues to fight. This is going to be an 8-0 match if Gupta can get back to his base. It's a difficult position for Gupta to fight out of. And a quick pin call in the first period. North Atlanta picks up their second win in a row.
North Atlanta has some momentum now going for them. We'll see if Nick Moffitt at 145 pounds can slow that down. He's going to be taking on Seth Fagan, who we saw earlier against Al Coy from Lovett.
So Fagan, he liked to wrestle from space in this first matchup, and Fagan has good level changes, good snaps. He has Moffitt a little off balance to start. Moffitt's in a little bit more of a square stance, which is a defensive position. And Fagan looks to be the aggressor, starting off with the hard front headlock. He's got that elbow control, flattens Moffitt out. I just can't quite get behind. Moffitt is fighting hard. Fagan does have the advantage here, but Moffitt gets it back to a 50-50 position, but he gets put right back down to a front headlock position. Moffitt's going to have to be careful, keeping his head up, and Fagan gets the 2. Spiral ride with a claw. Switches off to a cross wrist. Looking for some type of tilt or... No, he can't get it.
Fagan, returning state qualifier, is really starting to turn it up here.
He's got that cross wrist very tight on Moffitt, but it looks like we're going to go out of bounds and get a restart. Moffitt's going to have to be fast off the whistle because Fagan is very aggressive. Spiral chop for Fagan, flattens out Moffitt. Again, he controls those wrists when it's very difficult for the bottom guy to score any points when they keep their wrists tied up like that. We got 15 seconds left in the first period. Fagan in control. It looks like we're going to end this first period with Fagan up 2-0.
So Chris, we've made it into the second period for the first time in a while here.
It's been a while. Oddly enough, it was Fagan's last match where we made it. So we have Lovett, defer, and North Atlanta take bottom in the second period. Moffitt tries to chop, not very successful, gets a leg in. Leg couldn't keep it in. He trying to get control with that leg with a half. Fagan gets hand control, and Moffitt's in a precarious position here with his hips to the side. Gives up his leg. Moffitt needs to be able to sprawl hard and get back behind. He still hasn't given up any points, but he's in a difficult position, and Fagan gets the 2 reversal. So he looks in for that spiral claw tilt. Can't do anything with it. Tight waist is really getting some leverage there. He's squeezing hard. He got him parallel, but he couldn't break the plane to get any back points. So Fagan remains in control with a minute left in the second period. He's up 4-0.
Nick Moffitt hanging tough with the state qualifier and team captain from North Atlanta.
Again, he's tying up Moffitt's wrist, keeping him flat, puts in that Turk, 2.5. Moffitt's fighting hard, but he's got that bulldog position, and he can't do anything with it. So we still have a 4-0 match with 27 seconds left in the second period.
I like what I saw from Moffitt there.
Fagan looking for that tilt. He has a tight waist and a one-on-one, and he gets the referee is swiping. And that means that some points are about to go on the board for Fagan. North Atlanta gets 2 more. We have a 6-0 match going into the third period.
Both wrestlers are going to have their conditioning tested in this third period here.
Moffitt takes neutral going into the third period. He has to keep his head up. First period, he got snapped to the mat several times. Fagan with his level changes, snap, tie, level change, snap, tie. He's got that pattern down. It's been successful for him so far. Oh, quick level change, but he can't do anything with it. There he goes, his snap, level change. And he low single. He's going to try to come out the back door. Moffitt's going to have to scramble here. He's in a difficult situation. This looks like we might have a stalemate if no one makes any advancements to improve their position. Oh, Fagan's able to wiggle his way out of the back door and get another 2. We have an 8-0 match with a minute left in the third period.
If he maintains this lead, that's an extra point for the North Atlanta team for the major decision.
And Fagan gets that same tilt he got at the end of the second period. He hasn't got Moffitt to break the plane yet to get back points, but time is ticking out in this match with 40 seconds left. And the referee gives 2 back points. I didn't see any swipes there, but
I thought I saw 2.
So we have a 10-0 match, 26 seconds left. Moffitt's working his way out. See if he can get an escape point here. He's in a good position to score 1. And he gets it. Nick Moffitt with his first points on the board with 12 seconds left, but Fagan wastes no time diving in for that low single. 4 seconds left in the match. And that's it. So a 10-1 victory for Seth Fagan and North Atlanta.
North Atlanta on a bit of a win streak here. That's 3 in a row for North Atlanta after 11 matches for Lovett. Next we have Garrett Rossell up. He's a junior at 145 pounds. Garrett's another one that wrestled in our middle school and our youth program here. He's going to be taking on Aiden Humphreys, who we saw in the first match of the night. So Aiden's wrestling his second match of the day.
Hard tie from Aiden Humphreys, taking ground, but Garrett circles back to control the center of the mat, digs in that underhook, goes for the body lock. This is a position that we've seen already, and powers him over to his back. Switches off to a half. Garrett is in control right now. Takes an early 4-0 lead. He only got 2 back points out of that.
Yeah, it seems like he was there a while.
Yeah, it's a little surprising he wasn't able to pick up that extra back point, but he's in control with a bar arm and deep. If Garrett takes his time here, he's in a very good situation. He's got that bar arm and a one-on-one, very deep. And he's driving his opponent's shoulder into its ear, almost perfect technique there.
Humphrey's able to sit up on that.
He didn't get any back points out of that. It was very surprising. He rushed it just a little bit at the end. So we still have a 4-0 match with 38 seconds left in the first period. Garrett's still trying to get that bar arm in, but he has to get him flattened out if he really wants to work that move. And there we go. He gets him flattened, slips that bar in again, see if he takes his time all the way to the end this time.
He's got 17 seconds to make something happen here.
And he's in a position to score some back points, but he has to move quickly with 10 seconds left in the first period. And he's trying to pull him over for a tilt, but Aiden is based up strong, gives up no additional back points. 4-0 going to the second period. Love it. North Atlanta has choice, defers to Lovett, and Garrett takes top.
That's a confident move there, Chris, to take top on another wrestler.
Yeah, in a close match like this, it's not something you typically see. But I think Garrett feels he can get that bar again, and he goes right to it.
He must have felt that in the first period, that he knew he could get that again.
He's trying to go for a bar stack, doesn't get it, switches to a bar, and it seems like he doesn't know what exactly he wants to do with that other arm. He has the bar in deep, but he has to decide quickly. He has a double chicken wing in now. He's going to have to get Aiden flattened out, and he gets both bars in, has it locked up tight now.
That looks painful. He's taking his time this time.
I mean, Aiden is fighting very hard here. It's not often you see that double chicken wing position not lead to back points. We have 56 seconds left in the second period, and he just needs to take his time, and he's still struggling to pick up any additional back points. And he's getting a series of one swipes, and and there it is. Garrett took his time, got the double bar arm in. It took him almost a minute of work in that position, but in the end, he gets the fall for Lovett.
You know, it paid off to be patient in that position.
Yeah, when you have that much time left in a period, there's no reason to rush.
If you're Coach Maldonado right now, you've got to feel good about the way your team performed in this first duel of the season.
As I watch these matches, I can see exactly what they've been working on in practice. A lot of high crotches, a lot of halves. During our break, I want to give a quick shout out to the Lionbackers, who are supporting this broadcast on the Lovett Network. And with your help, we can continue Lovett's proud tradition of pursuing excellence on the fields, the gyms, the course, the track, and the pool. Please consider joining the Lovett Lionbackers organization today. Without the Lionbackers, we couldn't be here broadcasting to you now. And we got to just say we're very thankful to be able to have the ability to broadcast.
Yet, just to have sports in general, right? Without being able to have fans, it's great for us to be able to broadcast to the alumni and former wrestlers and show them what's going on with Lovett Athletics. And with that said, you know, there's a big football game this weekend, Chris. It's the first round of the playoffs, and the Lovett Network is headed to Lindale, Georgia to cover the first round of Class 2A playoffs as your Lovett Lions take on Pepperell Dragons. Kickoff is set at 7:30 this Saturday, November 28th.
So what we have here is an exhibition match between two North Atlanta wrestlers. And if I had to guess, I'm going to say this is a 220-pound weight class. Not exactly sure who these guys are.
I believe one of these wrestlers wrestled at 170 earlier. Lovett's highest wrestler right now in weight is 170 pounds, given that a number of our larger wrestlers in size play football. So I think the North Atlanta coach just wants to get his wrestlers some extra mat time in a match-type situation, which is a good idea. Looks like we have our first blood time of here. We've got Beth Garrett, our trainer, taking care of the North Atlanta wrestler. Steve, is it possible to interview Coach Billy after his first duel match? Is it possible to interview Coach Maldonado?
Tried. He quickly shot me down.
Coach Maldonado is focused in the corner. I believe we have a couple more matches before we wrap this dual meetup.
We want to remind you to go out and follow Lovett on Twitter and Instagram at Lovett Athletics. And that's at Lovett Athletics on both Twitter and Instagram. If you haven't already, please go out and follow Lovett Athletics.
Got a tight match here with the two North Atlanta wrestlers, 2-2.
And we actually just saw our first locked hands call of the meet.
Yeah, what is locked hands? What does that mean?
Oddly enough, and there's different styles of wrestling, and what we're watching here is folk style wrestling. And in folk style wrestling, in this position we're looking at right now, the top man or woman is not allowed to lock their hands around the body in a non-pinning position. So if the top wrestler was to have some type of front headlock or another type of pinning position, they could lock hands. But in this particular instance that we saw a few minutes ago, the top wrestler had their hands locked around the body of the bottom wrestler, which is considered a technical violation. And those particular technical violations are a 1-point penalty.
Will probably not be the last locked hands we see of the afternoon or the morning. We saw our second locked hands call. The wrestler from North Atlanta needs to watch out on this, the top wrestler, because he can actually be disqualified if he does this 4 times. The third time, it will be 2 points. The first time, it's 1 point. The second time, it's 1 point. The third point, it's 2 points. And then the fourth time, he will actually be disqualified from the match.
And typically a coach, when they have a wrestler who commits a locked hands violation over and over, they'll just have the wrestler stand up the bottom guy and just wrestle out of the neutral position. And I'm curious to see if the coach makes that decision.
They're starting in the neutral position here.
Dangerous. A little dangerous.
And we have a 6-3 match here with 1 minute and 36 seconds left in the second period.
Six to 4 now. The North Atlanta wrestler in the t-shirt and shorts can come back here with the takedown and tie it up.
And you would think that these guys wrestle each other all the time in practice. And so they're pretty familiar with each other.
They definitely both look a little bit gassed here at the end of the second period. And I believe he should be able to get a takedown out of this. No.
Nothing. They definitely both look like conditioning is becoming a factor. The action has slowed down a lot in this match.
You typically see that when they start standing straight up, they break out of their stance. And we're seeing that here from both of them.
We have an 8-4 match, 20 seconds left in the second period. And the referee is urging the two guys to wrestle.
He gives them a point at the end of the period there.
It's time. And
that was a tactical mistake there.
It's one of those mistakes you make when you're exhausted. And that's what it looks like. He's sitting down on the mat. They both kind of look like they can't wait until this match is over.
Yeah, I believe we have a Lovett coach. We have Kip Thompson. Steve, over to you to interview Kip.
Okay, I'm here with Kip Thompson, Lovett wrestling coach, assistant wrestling coach. Kip's been with the program for a number of years. I'm going to let Kip talk about some of the changes he's seen in wrestling in the state of Georgia since he wrestled at Wesleyan. Kip, talk to us a little bit about what you've seen over the last few years.
Yeah, so this is my 10th year coaching. I'm a volunteer coach here, and I just know from the time when I was in high school, when I graduated in 2007, you know, if you look at how many kids are going to college in wrestling, and then you look at the NCAA tournament, how many kids are from the state of Georgia, and then even how many kids are All-American and from the state of Georgia, the sport is growing and the talent is growing, which is awesome to be a part of. I would like to think I have a huge hand in the talent. I don't have anything that I can relate to, but I know that I'm a big factor in that, yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kip. Kip, would you say that some of that improvement in the quality of wrestling in the state of Georgia has something to do, is it all the kids, is it the coaching? What would you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think, number one, the sport as a whole is getting more attention. I think younger kids are seeing a lot more on social media, you know, places like Flow Wrestling, and then having these college athletes that have very big social media followings. It allows them to grow. It allows them to get interest in the sport. And I know a lot of our guys, they come to practice learning a lot of moves on YouTube. And it's like, hey, yeah, I saw a guy at Penn State do this, or I saw a guy do this a couple of years ago. So I think that the access is a lot easier, and just living in a digital age, they get to see a lot more than they would see in the room or against people that they might not ever have a chance to wrestle to, but they can see it online.
Thanks, Kip. All right, we're going to throw it back over to Joey and Chris for the next match.
So here we go. 100-pound weight class, Kale Kuski, an 8th grader, taking on Joseph Bari, who already wrestled a match earlier for North Atlanta, and immediately Kuski's in deep on a leg. Double leg switches off to a single, switches back to his double leg. Just needs to take control, and he's got his quick 2. First 20 seconds, and lets his opponent up, gives him a 1. It looks like Kuski wants to score a lot of points this match. Looks for a slide by into a Fireman's. Another 2 points. We have a 4-1 match. Minute 20 seconds left in the first period. Lovett is in control. Kuski's looking for a tilt, a roll through tilt, and he has it. No back points there. He has to slow it down just a little bit if he wants to score points from that position. And he lets him up, 4-2, 50 seconds left. First period, ankle pick. Nice ankle pick from Kuski. Racking up the takedowns. Already 3 takedowns here in the first period. And if he's not careful, North Atlanta's going to give up a cradle here, but he gets a snap back, but no points from there. Crossface cradle set up from Lovett. Rolls him over, and he's picking up back points, and there's a fall there for Kale Kuski, 8th grader from Lovett, wrestling up on the JV team. Nice showing. It looks like the future is very bright for the Lovett wrestling team.
And we've seen a number of first period falls in this match. Our next match, it looks like we've got John Goodsell. His opponent right now, I'm trying to figure out who his opponent is right now. They were not on the original list from North Atlanta.
The North Atlanta wrestler is very physical, taking ground right away, pushing Goodsell to the edge of the mat. Goodsell's able to circle back in. Strong collar tie from North Atlanta. We got some very physical hand fighting to start this match off. Goodsell kind of gets snapped in. Front headlock from North Atlanta. He gets that ankle, but no, Goodsell takes control, drives him over with a double leg to start off the match with his first takedown. Lovett's up 2-0. Goodsell is immediately looking for that bar. We've seen this bar several times from the Lovett wrestlers. And he pulls it back, looking for a tilt on the edge of the mat. Bar tilt, gets 2 swipes from the referee. We have a 4-0 match for Goodsell. He drives him back over with that same bar. Can't get any points, though. Goodsell's keeping North Atlanta flattened out, controlling the hips, drives that half in deep. It's a deep half. It's going to be very difficult for North Atlanta, and we have another fall first period from Lovett.
That's 16 matches that Lovett's won, 14 of them by pin, versus 3 matches that North Atlanta won.
Quite impressive, and it's quite funny to see these wrestlers at the end of the match thinking they're going to shake hands, but again, with the COVID protocols, the referee reminds them that we're not shaking hands today, which is a very difficult thing for a wrestler because the handshaking component has always been one of the most important aspects of wrestling, that sportsmanship.
Yeah, showing that sportsmanship, shaking the other coach's hand, right? That's been a big part of wrestling, and you see it from the time that they're 5 years old until through high school and college, and so it's definitely not something that's natural to them right now. I think what we saw from Lovett, Chris, is that we have a number of underclassmen who are wrestling JV who were put up against starters today, and they held their own. So not only did the Lovett starters really come through, but a number of those wrestlers who are 9th and 10th graders working their way into the starting lineup also, and even 8th graders in some cases, were able to take on varsity wrestlers from North Atlanta and have success. And that shows that Coach Maldonado is building a pipeline of wrestlers to not only have success this year in AA, but in the future as well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of good technique out of Lovett.
So we'll be back at 11 o'clock when Lovett takes on Walnut Grove and see if Lovett can continue their dominating performance.
Communication with Rev was perfect too, and I need to be able to teach your kids how to use that stick mic because for some reason I think the kids have trouble with it. Exactly. It was perfect for this. Y'all did a great job. That was excellent. Excellent. You want another one?
We can share.
No. Out there, take a right. Let's go doubles, high quad doubles, make something set up. Hey Paul, 10:45. 10:45.
Chris, awesome job. Awesome job. Hey, so you got the lesson. Billy said that the order in which the matches and these names are all perfect for Lubbock. These could switch around. As soon as y'all know who it is, I need to hear y'all on the horse because I got to be typing in their names real fast.
He said there's no way we're going to be able to find out.
Until right before the match, right?
He said might even not, they can just switch it up at any point, he said.
If you learn of it,
Say it out loud.
Yeah, because we're listening to you. I'm going to ask Steve Allen to do the same thing.
Maybe if Steve could walk around and talk to somebody on their bench and say it.
Yep, yep.
Because he said the only way we'll know is to go ask them.
Yep, yep. That's the way to do it. Where is it? Is that Steve right there?
Yeah.
Oh, you on 690? That's a good. I just grab ankle. Oh, sit down.
I was just looking at Joey was asking me. Oh yeah, well, it should be able to hear, even if we're close. But I will probably. Check in and see that.
Hey, bring that in. Zoom it in. Remember, we were going to zoom it in. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right, so John, we're going live at 10:45. Yeah. Steve is going to be. Okay, who's the next This is the
But it looked like we had like a couple plays. Oh, cool. Well, click. So like people, like, it doesn't tell you how many people are watching for how long until after usually. It's still a little iffy. It looks like consistently like 80 to 100 people are watching for like 20 minutes.
You drop below 60, you guys get a pay. You might have to ask you to take your shirts off.
We only got 15 maybe. It does in real time whenever you sign on to it, how many are on that moment. There's only like 15 or 17. We'll be back. Hopefully enough people will come. Tune in 15 minutes before, but we're probably not going to talk to them. Main thing is the zoom in to being able to get tight so you can actually see the movement. Otherwise it gets if we just had one Love It network kid. What's that?
So it looks like we're going to start a little earlier than 11 o'clock. So if you're out there watching this broadcast, go ahead and get your volume back up and get ready for an official dual meet here between the Lovett Lions and Walnut Grove.
Yeah, this should be a good test for the Lions here, Chris. When you look at it, I'm looking up and down the lineup. Walnut Grove has 6 state qualifiers and 2 additional state placers. So 8 of their wrestlers were at the state tournament last year. And in 5A, the qualification process goes through the area and the sections. So you have to be in top 4 in each of those in order to qualify for the state tournament. I expect this to be a very competitive duel, with each coach really wanting to win their first major duel of the season.
Absolutely. And I got a brief moment to talk to Coach Maldonado before this duel, and he expects this to come down to 1 or 2 matches.
So it looks like the coaches and ref are huddled here in the center. We'll be sending out captains soon. I see the 106-pounders warming up. You know, first for Lovett, we're going to have Jack Geegan, who came out and got that first period pin last time. So I'm sure Jack's going to want to go out and take the first shot and get his hands on the wrestlers. Lovett's been coming out with a lot of fire in each of their matches.
So we're going to have 14 weight classes. And just as a quick reminder, a regular decision, which is a win by 7 points or less, is 3 team points. A win of 8 points or more is 14 points. A win by 15 points is a technical fall. And a win by pin is 16 points.
He wrote it down for us. Sorry there, we're just getting the finalized lineups as the coaches are adjusting their lineups. We have Geegan versus Luke Meredith in this first round.
So Geegan immediately out to an outside single, dump. Quick takedown, first 6 seconds of the match. Geegan sets the tone. Hard chop. Cross wrist, looking for that ball and chain.
This is a physical match already.
Geegan's a lot of energy right to that patented Lovett half Nelson. I expect Geegan to go back to that again shortly. And the Walnut Grove wrestler has his head down on the mat, which makes him very susceptible for a half Nelson. And there it is, right away.
Well, that could be it, Chris.
This does
Tight.
not look like he's going to get. No, and he rolls through. Geegan needs to take his time on that, but he picks up 3 back points. And we have a 7-0 match with a minute left in the first period.
You know, I think that's an example of this COVID protocol. Oh, we've got another one.
This looks like a fall.
You know, normally the ref would be able to put his hand underneath the back, but since they're staying 6 feet away now, it's going to take a little bit more time to get that pin. So Lovett comes out with a 6-0 lead.
Jack Geegan, the sophomore, sets the tone. Next up, we have the 113-pound weight class.
John Goodsell in his 3rd match of the day. I believe he's going to get a forfeit. I was talking to the Walnut Grove coach earlier. They do have a 113-pounder, but I think he's pretty inexperienced. So John's going to get a forfeit, which gives Lovett an early 12-0 lead. Coming into Alex Hyman, 5th in state last year.
As a freshman.
As a freshman, as a 120-pounder. He's going to be wrestling Landon Ricks.
Ricks looks fired up for this match. Alex starting with the low stance. Little head taps, not quite into the hand fighting, but Alex gets the wrist control, switches off to the inside tie. Not a lot of level changes yet, a lot of hand fighting. Alex with that right hand collar tie, but doesn't find a move off of it. There goes a level change from Ricks, but doesn't do much with it. We're back into a collar tie. Ricks tries a duck, but can't make anything happen with it. Ricks tries to use some type of Russian tie, but doesn't find Alex with the reshot. In deep on that double leg. Level changes again, drives him, and gets the 2.
The small Lovett crowd we have here was pretty excited on that double. Alex is known for his double leg. That's where he butters his bread.
Some good action here with a minute left in the first period. Lovett is on top. Looks for the head lever and gets it. Slides that bar in. Alex is running that bar deep. He needs to slow it down. And he gets that big step over, takes control, and finishes it off. Alex Hyman, the sophomore, with the 6-point pin for Lovett.
18-0. I imagine that's how Coach Maldonado wanted to start this duel. I want to say that transition from that head lever to that arm bar was almost perfect. He transitioned it very well. You can tell Coach Maldonado's been working on those bars. We're back to Jake Kennedy, former youth state champion, second at state middle school last year. He's taken on Cale Griswold, also a state qualifier last year. This will be a good early test for Kennedy and his freshman campaign.
Still 126-pound weight class. Kennedy getting in tight. Hard snap to an underhook. Looks for that sweep single, but just can't get deep enough. Walnut Grove with the tough sprawl. But Kennedy stays in there tight. Gets in there. He wants to wrestle kind of in the phone booth. Tries to attack those legs, but just can't make anything happen out of it.
Defense of Griswold has been very solid on those leg attacks.
Kennedy wants that right hand collar tie. Dives in for a high crotch. Looks like he's in good position. Gets down into what they call a crackdown position.
Is Griswold looking for a cradle there?
It's kind of a 50-50 position here. Anybody can win this. And this is the type of action we kind of expected from a state qualifier.
I think the ref may call a stalemate here, Chris.
Kennedy needs to hold on tight to that leg if he wants to get that stalemate, because Griswold, if he gets a hard crossface here and he has a cradle locked up, Kennedy's in a difficult position. There's still no points awarded, and this is where we might get that stalemate.
Kennedy losing his mouthpiece there.
So far, looks like we have 2 evenly matched opponents. Kennedy again with that right hand hard collar tie.
All the leg attacks coming from Kennedy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some stalling in this match from the neutral position.
And so far, Griswold seems like he can see Kennedy's leg attacks coming. And that last one looked promising, but it just wasn't enough time on the clock.
Yeah, that was his best shot of the morning.
So uncharacteristically, Walnut Grove does not defer and chooses bottom to start off the second period. Oh, hard, quick switch from Walnut Grove. Kennedy's going to have to hold on to that leg if he doesn't want to give up the reversal. Oh, great scrambling from Jake Kennedy to keep from giving up the reversal. He gets that leg in, slows Griswold down, flattens him out. He's looking for some type of power half position.
It's the way he
And he
takes
gets
those
it.
elbows in.
But he gets high, gives up one escape. First points on the board in the second period. Walnut Grove with the 1-point lead.
That first point could come into play if this is an overtime match.
Nice shot from Jake Kennedy. It was a low shot, switched off to a double. He's been looking for that shot the entire first period, but it finally worked out for him here in the second.
He's relentless in his attacks here, knowing eventually one's going to come home.
If he keeps up this pace, he'll be okay, but this is a really tight match. 1 point separates the two wrestlers. 44 seconds left in the second period. Hard crossface, looking for that crossface cradle. He has the Walnut Grove wrestler flattened out completely, in total control. Kennedy with that power half with that leg in. 20 seconds left. Griswold wants to try to see if he can score some points at the end of this period, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Kennedy gets him flattened out. Going for the roll through tilt with 3 seconds left in the second. No point scored.
Really solid period for Kennedy here.
Kennedy starts the third period on bottom. Same switch. Nothing there. Walnut Grove's going to have to do more than just ride Kennedy in this third period if he wants to make something happen. He's down by 1. Kennedy up to his feet, but Walnut Grove with the mat return.
Continuous motion from Kennedy here, I think, is what got him that reversal there, Chris. He just did not stop moving that entire sequence.
So we have a 4-1 lead with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the third period. Jake Kennedy, the freshman from Lovett, is in control. This could be a nice win for the freshman against a previous state qualifier from Walnut Grove. Kennedy with a quick breakdown off the whistle to take control. He got that leg in, he's immediately back to that power half. And that half is in deep.
He's got to watch that arm, or the ref will call it potentially dangerous. Needs to keep it legal. Can't go against the joint there.
Kennedy's being really physical on top. Griswold, he's going to have to get to his base if he wants to make anything happen, but as long as he's flattened out like this, there it is. There's that first stall call of the match. And that stall call is on Walnut Grove. We got 28 seconds left. Kennedy's in complete control with his leg in.
And there's your second stall call here. That's 1 more point for Kennedy.
And he has that half in deep. He's going to have to pull his leg up. You called it, Joey. He has to watch that arm on that half if he wants to keep from getting called for potentially dangerous.
Yeah, shoulders have really become the knees of when we grew up, right? Shoulders are those career-ending injuries, and so refs really want to make sure that they're protecting the wrestlers with that potentially dangerous call.
And there you have it. Jake Kennedy, the freshman from Lovett, takes out the state qualifier from Walnut Grove with a 5-0 victory.
That was a dominating performance from the top position. To go up against an older wrestler and be able to dominate him from the top position like that, Wrestlers are going to take notice of this freshman. Next up, we have Parker Coy, who was 4th in the state last year, 3rd in the state the year before. He's a junior. He's taking on Garrett Louderholt.
So Lovett is in the lead in this duel, 21-0. So Parker Coy, he's known for his ability to go upper body with his opponents, and I'm interested to see if he's going to get in there tight into some type of throw position. He's got those double unders. Let's see what he does with it. Coy scrambles around, picks up the 2 on the go behind. Claw position. 2-on-1 tilt, but nothing scored there.
That was close to back points there.
Coy with that leg in with the crossface, picking up back points. He's not going to be able to get the fall here because he's not in the position, but he does pick up 3 back points. So we have a 5-0 match with 57 seconds left in the first period. And Parker keeps that leg in right back to that crossface, picking up more back points.
Parker, a tall 132. I think this leverage is giving the Walnut Grove wrestler.
And we look like we have a fall.
Oh, wow.
Dominating performance.
That's what you expect from a returning state placer. So that puts the Lovett team up 27-0. And next at 138 pounds, we have Parker's brother, who's a senior, Al Coy, defending state champion. Al is going to be going up against Gage Ragsdale, who was a previous state qualifier in 5A. This should be a good one.
Immediately into an ankle pick. Keeps that arm, switching off to almost a cradle position. Doesn't pick up the back points, but he does get the 2 takedown to start it off. Minute 45 left in the first. We've seen the last 3 wrestlers all put this leg in to flatten out their opponents. I wouldn't be surprised if I see some back points following this position. This is the first time I've seen double boots in from our Lovett wrestler, but Al decides to take it out and go to that half, but he can't keep it in there. Al has complete control of his opponent right now. With the Walnut Grove wrestler just keeping his head on the mat, he's not going to be able to get any points as long as he keeps his head down on that mat. Could we see a leg cradle here? We got 36 seconds left in the first period. And Al Coy is just scrambling around. This is not where you want to be as a top man. The referee has to watch the knees here from both wrestlers as they scramble kind of in like a pretzel type position.
And we'll see a stalemate there where no one was improving position, so the ref lets him restart.
So this is still just a 2-0 match. Just very close here with 17 seconds left. First period. Al slips that leg in, looking for a cradle or a banana split position. And that's the end of the first period, 2-0 for Lovett.
We've got a tight one here. Walnut Grove defers. Coy chooses the bottom position.
Walnut Grove's looking for that wrist, but he can't get it. And Coy is looks like he's close to getting an escape or a reversal, and he gets the reversal. All right, we had a 4-0 match here. He's put that leg back in, but Coy has his arm trapped underneath right now. He won't be able to score any points out of this position until he can get his arm back. And he gets his arm back. Goes for the power half. No. Slips it out, looking for that crossface that we saw from his brother.
Some physical hand fighting happening down there between the two of them.
As long as Coy has this leg in and has his opponent flattened out, he's going to be in control on top, but let's see if he can somehow advance this position to score some back points. And right now, the Walnut Grove wrestler is just kind of trying to fight for his life to keep from getting flipped to his back. 30 seconds left in the second period. And the Walnut Grove wrestler is just hand fighting, and we get a stalemate call. You have to give the Walnut Grove wrestler a lot of credit. He's fighting hard on bottom.
Yeah, I think that stalemate really benefits him to get a fresh start because he was flat with really not much of a chance of getting up there.
Spiral ride from Coy. Gets him flat. Got 10 seconds left in the period. And it looks like we're going to end the second period with a 4-0 lead for Al Coy of Lovett.
Now, Walnut Grove will have the choice here. Curious to see what position they choose. What would you do here as a coach?
I would take neutral. And that's what we
apparently they followed your advice.
That's been his best shot so far. And the Walnut Grove wrestler starts with some hard level changes to a collar tie. Oh, nice low single from Al Coy. But they're immediately into a 50-50 scramble position. Coy is very good in these positions, and he gets the 2. So we have a 6-0 match. If Coy wants to get bonus points, he needs to get back points in the next minute and 30 seconds. And again, bonus points is if he has an 8-point lead at the end of the match. Instead of getting 3 points for the duel, he'll pick up that extra 4 points instead of 3 for his team.
He's got an entire minute, over a minute left to try to pick those points up. But he's yet to turn the Walnut Grove wrestler.
So sometimes a coach in this position will tell the wrestler to let him up and try to score to get that bonus point. Let's see what Coach Maldonado decides.
I think he wants him to stay on top here. It's still early in the season for some of these guys, and their conditioning is getting tested already.
Spiral ride. Let's see if Coy slips that leg back in. Looks for a cradle but can't get it. The Walnut Grove wrestler has showed that he can hand fight hard from that bottom position and not give up any back points. So with 35 seconds left in the third, it's going to be difficult for Coy to be able to turn, which a wrestler who's shown to be really tough keeping his base. But we have a tilt. Oh, wow, it's a fast tilt. It was close, but not quite there. He should probably try to go right back to that. That was his best shot so far, getting back points.
Yeah, I thought it was close. I thought it was really close to being 2 points there.
And it looks like the Walnut Grove wrestler is going to prevent the major decision and keep it to just a decision.
Yeah, defending state champ Al Coy really put on a good performance there. Did a good job for the team. I think he's got a good chance of becoming a two-timer here.
So with those 3 points, it puts Lovett up 30-0 in this duel. And I guess our prediction of a close duel is somewhat wrong at this point.
Lovett's won those close positions where it looks like it's close. Lovett has come out on top.
So this is the 145-pound weight class. We have sophomore Nicholas Moffitt up against Zed Bastia from Walnut Grove. And the Walnut Grove wrestler gets in and gets the first 2 of the match.
And one thing to point out here, Chris, is that while it appears Lovett's dominating, Lovett's larger wrestlers are all playing football still, so they're giving up forfeits, which is 6 points for the team in the top 3 weight classes.
Uh-oh. And the Walnut Grove wrestler locks up a cradle. Nicholas Moffitt's in trouble. He's in big trouble here. He's going to have to kick out hard, and he's not able to do it.
And Walnut Grove gets on the board. Like I said, there's 18 points in forfeits at the top of this lineup. So while the team score may seem like it's heavily favored in Lovett, those forfeits could come into play here. So it's now 30-6.
And we're up at the 152-pound weight class now. Will from Lovett.
Yeah, that's Will LeCompte from Lovett. He's a junior. He's wrestling Jacob Helms, who is a state qualifier last year.
And Jacob wastes no time getting the takedown immediately into a tilt position. Jacob is very aggressive here starting off this match. And he has Will and looking like he's in a little bit of trouble. He's on the edge of the mat with that bar. The Walnut Grove wrestler needs to bring him back in, which he does. He keeps that bar in. That bar is tight. So 1:14 seconds left in the first period.
I think Will needs to see where he's at on the mat here and see if he can get out of bounds for a restart.
And the Walnut Grove wrestler had that bar in tight, but just tried to rush it and was a little bit too aggressive.
I think Will fought that off really well there on the edge.
Will's going to have to work really hard here at this last minute for the first period. He tries to Granby, but gets tilted. Gives up 2 back points. Walnut Grove's up 4-0, 50 seconds left in the first period. We knew with Helms being a state qualifier, this was going to be a difficult match for Lovett.
I think we're really getting into the meat of the Walnut Grove lineup, right?
And he keeps going. He's in that head lever position, which is a very strong position for the top wrestler. But he has to do something with it. He can't just put pressure on that arm like that without doing something.
He's got to watch that or it's going to be potentially dangerous there.
Got 8 seconds left in the first period. It looks like we're going to get out of this first period with a 4-0 lead for Walnut Grove.
Now, sometimes in a duel, a wrestler can even help their team by losing, right? And in this case, if a wrestler is down, they may be looking to not get scored on anymore, to not give up any bonus points. So we may see Will in that situation later on in this match.
Will starts off on top. He's got to get a tough ride here to keep it close. But he's out to the side, and he doesn't really have good control. He needs to be careful here. And Walnut Grove gets his one and is immediately into that front headlock position. Will has a chance to pick up 2 takedowns. It's still 50-50. We're into that scramble position we've seen over and over again where both opponents are on the ankle. But the Walnut Grove wrestler is able to come through the back door and get the 2-point takedown. 7-0 for Walnut Grove.
Right to that half Nelson, Chris, just like we've seen all morning.
So Will has to be careful here. He doesn't want to give up bonus points. So he needs to stay very strong here on bottom, keep his base, and not give up any back points going into the third period. We have 44 seconds left here in the second. And so far, Lovett's done a good job not giving up any unnecessary back points to keep this match within reach.
I think
So-
that stalemate is good for the Lovett wrestler, getting a fresh start here.
Absolutely. He can't quite get to his base. He gets returned to the mat, and with 14 seconds left, it looks like we're going to have a 7-0 match heading into the third period with Walnut Grove's choice. Actually, make that, it's going to be Lovett's choice in the third period.
He hasn't been turned yet. I think he likes that bottom position. You know, if he can keep this to a 7-0 lead, that really helps Lovett on the team score side.
I think that will be a win for Lovett if he can not give up any back points here in this last 2 minutes. And he gets to his feet, almost gets the escape, but gets returned. Will has to get his head off the mat here. And the Walnut Grove wrestlers back to that head lever. But this is a nice position for Lovett if he can. No, he gets returned. That Navy ride for Walnut Grove is where he wants to be. He's probably going to try to suck him and pull him back in. We got 1:23 left in the third period. Right now, for Lovett, this is a fight to keep this score at 7-0 and not give up that additional bonus point.
Yeah, early in the season, first duel, conditioning's really being tested here. And you see the Lovett wrestler come to the center first, while the Walnut Grove wrestler tries to get a breather in.
Quick stand up off the whistle into that quad pop position. But the Walnut Grove wrestler takes advantage and slips a half in. He needs to look away. The Lovett wrestler needs to look away and fight hard. We have a minute left in the third period, 7-0. Lovett is fighting to not give up that additional bonus point here. And Will is continuing to fight hard. He has to get his arm back, and he fights to his feet. Doesn't want to give up that tilt, and he doesn't.
They might call stalling here with him on the ankle.
And there it is, first point of the match. The Walnut Grove wrestler is exhausted. Will could get a takedown here in the last.
So what are you thinking here if you're Will?
Well, I don't want to do anything silly and give up a takedown with 20 seconds left. He's fought hard to this point. And it looks like Walnut Grove wrestler is exhausted. He doesn't have much left, but you don't want to let him level change in the last second and get a cheap takedown. 5 seconds left. The Walnut Grove coach is over there losing his mind because he wants his wrestler to go for that the bonus points, but he didn't.
I think conditioning was definitely a factor and not going for it there.
Even though on the scoreboard Lovett lost that match, I think Coach Maldonado has to be really happy that his wrestler didn't give up any bonus points.
Absolutely, and I think that could come into play at the end of the duel. So next we have William Sharp wrestling Hayden Luttrell, who is also a state qualifier. We're right into the meat of this Walnut Grove lineup, and you can see it.
Start off with a collar tie from both wrestlers. They're in there tight. The Walnut Grove wrestler level changes, looks for a fireman's. But Sharp with a tough sprawl, gets that ankle, slams his hips into the Walnut Grove wrestler. Hard crossface. If Sharp can get his hips into him, he can win this position, but he's not able to give. Oh, no, it's Walnut Grove with a really hard reshot. Puts the Lovett wrestler to his back for a quick first period pin.
That was a big lift and mat return there, and I think that it impacted the outcome. So now we're going to send out Finn Bresnahan at 170 pounds, which is a slight lineup change for Lovett. He's going to wrestle Skylar Jones from Walnut Grove. Finn is a junior on the Lovett team. We've really seen big improvement from him as a wrestler, and Coach Maldonado is expecting big things out of him this year.
This Walnut Grove wrestler is coming in very physical, level changes, good footwork. Finn looks like he has his work cut out for him. Finn takes it back to the center of the mat, quick fake, back to that collar tie.
You know, we see pretty contrasting body types here, right, with Skylar from Walnut Grove being explosive and short and stocky, and Finn being more of a longer wrestler.
And then we got a really fast go behind, took advantage of a bad shot from Finn, gets the 2, minute 15 seconds left, and the first period, Walnut Grove up 2-0. Finn strong into that quad pod position. The Walnut Grove wrestlers looking for that head lever to a half, switches off to a spiral. Finn back to that quad pod, knee slide, hand fighting into that sit out position, trying to find if he can get a reversal or escape. The Walnut Grove wrestler is riding him tight and is able to flatten him out. Finn's going to want to keep that train wrestling to get a shot to get off bottom here. He doesn't want to get slowed down and flattened out.
I feel like the Walnut Grove wrestlers just trying to ride here and control wrists.
Yeah, I haven't seen any pinning combinations attempted from Walnut Grove. Nice knee slide. Oh, Finn was so close to getting an escape right there. He just needed to keep moving and not stop his momentum. And he gets the 1-point escape with 10 seconds left in the first period.
I believe that was a tactical error by Walnut Grove there with 10 seconds left, and that could really prove to be a difference maker in this match.
Absolutely. You never want to give up points in the last 10 seconds of a period. We got choice for Walnut Grove, and they go under.
Lovett's proven they're very tough on top during this match. That might be a mistake for the Walnut Grove wrestler.
Let's see if he explodes off the whistle or waits. And he waits. He gives Finn a chance to. No, but he. Yeah. Great technique there from Walnut Grove. Into that front headlock position. He's looking at that ankle, but he's on the edge of the mat, so he can't get to it. The Walnut Grove wrestler is in a good position. I think this is where he wants to be. But Finn is smart here, controls that elbow, knows that he's on the edge of the mat, and he's not going to give up anything cheap. A stalling call for Red.
Read it?
That's Lovett. Lovett's called for a stalling call there on the edge of the match. That could be huge.
I didn't see either wrestler attempting any to move forward there.
Finn with 2 reshots, but leaves his head on the mat. Minute left in the second period.
I'd like to see him go back to that upper body stuff. I think his length would really help there. These shots.
Finn won't. He has to get his head off the mat. He can't give up another go behind here with 50 seconds left. Walnut Grove looks comfortable here. He's clearly looking for a go behind, but Finn with the big double leg. That was an impressive takedown. And he slides the bar in. Lovett's got he's in a nice position. If he can take his time, he should be able to pick some back points up if he can. But he loses that bar arm, and we have a stalling call for Walnut Grove. So each wrestler so far has a stalling call, and we got a half, and a huge turn of events there. Finn looked like he was going to get back points,
Oh, that was close.
and nothing scored. No reversal, no escape. That could have went either way. I would say that's a judgment call from the referee.
It was close, but what I see is one wrestler laying on the mat. He gave up some easy points at the end of that period. I believe that Lovett Wrestlers is better conditioned right now and is ready to wrestle. I think the Walnut Grove coach is questioning this call right now in order to give his wrestler a breather.
So
which
we
is
have
a smart tactical move.
We have a 3-3 tied score into the third period. This is probably, so far, the closest match of the day we've had. Lovett's on bottom. Knee slide and a reversal for Lovett. Impressive. Conditioning is clearly playing a factor here.
You know, this is where Lovett could sneak up and get a fall because the wrestler is not well conditioned. Let's see if Finn can really turn it up here and get some back points and potentially a pin.
So Lovett is up by 2 points. The score is 5-3 with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the third period. And we have a stalling on Green. And Lovett picks up an additional point. 6-3. Finn is trying to get that bar arm in. He's running that bar arm. He has a minute to make this move work, and he gets the Walnut Grove wrestler to turn to his back. And I just saw the face of the Walnut Grove wrestler just look of disappointment.
That is a big turn of events, and the match could come down to that turn, right?
And the Walnut Grove wrestler just lays on the mat, completely exhausted and disappointed in himself.
I'm really impressed with the conditioning from the Lovett team. They've
This
been in a
early in the
situation-
season, I would say Lovett has the clear advantage when it comes to conditioning.
Absolutely. Now we have wrestling up a weight class, Bear Aiden Kaufman versus Jonathan Paramore, who's a senior. Kaufman is a sophomore. Paramore is a returning state placer and one of the top wrestlers on this Walnut Grove squad.
And so far, there's a clear physical advantage for the bigger wrestler. Lovett's in a difficult position here, and Walnut Grove, the senior, is able to take advantage of the younger and smaller Lovett wrestler.
And those are the matchups you look for as a coach, right, where you can get bonus points. But it looks like Coach Maldonado had two 170s, and he knew they were both, he went ahead and put one of them against Skylar, and I think that worked out for him, right?
So we're headed into the last three matches of the day, which I think Lovett, again, with the football team still being in the playoffs, we're going to give up 3 forfeits here.
We are, and that's going to be 18 points. That's going to give Walnut Grove the win here from a team score standpoint, unless I'm miscalculating.
And that's the big disadvantage. Now Lovett took off to a 30-point lead. At a point in this duel, Lovett was up 30-0, and with 3 forfeits in the 195, 220, and 285 weight classes, that can really be a huge turn in this duel.
Right. And Lovett's known for that, right? We continually have a football team that's in the playoffs, so we don't see our full squad until we get into the beginning of December to mid-December. So that's not unheard of, but it's never fun to lose a dual meet, especially when you go up 30-0.
So it looks like the final team score for this duel is going to be 39-36. Walnut Grove.
How do you think the team did overall?
I think just, the eyeball test says that Lovett was the better team. Unfortunately, the score doesn't reflect that. But overall, I think Lovett looked really solid. Conditioning-wise, there's clearly some technical advantages they had in the bar arm position. They were able to get off bottom. They were able to control the top position. They look really good, end to end.
Yeah, I see the lightweights as really being the strength of this team right now, the way that we're going. I mean, you've seen it in 2 duels in a row, one match after another, where it's just takedown, pin, and I think they really scored a lot of points. Once those upper weights come back from the football team, I mean, this would be a much different duel. I know the wrestlers we have that are playing football are state qualifiers and in some case state placers. So,
well, to give up 24 points at the end of a duel, I mean, we had the 3 forfeits and we had the young sophomore bumping up in weight to wrestle 182. 24 points in the duel. It's difficult to win any duel meet, giving up those type of points. But for the fans at home, we're going to roll into some JV matches. That should be really exciting as well. Lovett's done really good so far with these younger wrestlers. That's really shown what Lovett's going to look like in a couple years. It's looking very bright. This first match we have is an 8th grader, Kale Kuski, wrestling a 9th grader from Walnut Grove. Kuski's a youth state champion, multi-time placer. He gets in. The quick takedown. Looking to stack his opponent with. Picked up 3 back points there. Oh, sorry, he picked up 2 back points. This is Kuski's 2nd match of the day. In his first match, he got a pin. He gets that leg in, banana split position, not a fun position to be caught in. Kuski continues to chain wrestle into a cradle. That's a tight cradle. It's going to be difficult, and it's all over.
And that's his second first period fall of the day. That's his second first period fall of the day. I believe Kuski's going to get an opportunity to wrestle their 106-pound starter later on. We'll see what that looks like. Next we have Jack Geegan. He's going to get another match of the day. He was our starter at 106. I believe he is wrestling 120-pounder.
Start off with some collar tie, 50-50 position here. No wrestler really has the advantage in a collar tie unless someone can clear their hands and get a level change in. Sometimes you see ankle picks out of that position.
Geegan wants to keep it in the center of the mat here.
Geegan with the level change. Can he do something with it? Looks for a drag. It's not there. Another level change. Geegan starting to pick up the pace, put some pressure on him. There he is. He just missed a low single attempt, but he keeps wrestling through the position, switches off to a double leg, and gets the 2 takedown. That was a great example of nonstop movement and letting his pace lead to a takedown.
I mean, we call those hustle points, right? Just out hustling your opponent in those positions. He just kept wrestling and kept wrestling.
Lovett's been dominant on top all day, and there's that half that we've seen over and over again. It's a deep half. I would be very surprised if this didn't lead to a fall. And there it is.
I mean, Geegan's been perfect on the day. 3 matches, 3 pins.
Excellent work from the sophomore.
I'm not sure he made it out of the first period today.
I can't recall.
Now we've got Logan Lutz in his 2nd match of the day. Logan's a sophomore at Lovett, or he's a freshman at Lovett.
Freshman.
Wrestled on the middle school program and the youth program for many years. He's taken on Landon Ricks, a junior from Walnut Grove. Freshmen will be tested early here.
Arm drag to a sweep single. Gets the 2, but the Walnut Grove wrestler continues to fight. They scramble around a little bit, somewhat of uncontrolled positions, but Lutz gets that arm trap and is able to slow down the Walnut Grove wrestler and get in a position where he could potentially score some back points. Switches off to a power half, and that's that position we've seen over and over again, rotates into what we call a bulldog position, and again, a pin from Lovett.
Another first period fall there. These Lovett lightweights are very dominant. Now John Goodsell is up next. He'll be wrestling John Stringfield, a freshman from Walnut Grove. Goodsell, a sophomore from Lovett.
Into the hand fighting. The Walnut Grove wrestler is really high. He gets double legged because of that mistake. He was far too high reaching, and you kind of could just telegraph that Goodsell was going to be able to get that takedown with a double leg. Anytime a wrestler is that high reaching, they're putting themselves in a vulnerable position, and Goodsell took advantage of it.
Yeah, I think Goodsell's experience really paid off to get that takedown. He's been in those positions before.
A little bit of an uncontrolled scramble there from the bottom wrestler. Goodsell's able to slow him down a little bit, flatten him out. He's got that cross wrist. He's trying to step him over, pick up some back points. He would call that somewhat of a barbed wire position, but he can't take advantage of it. Back to his tight waist, to a chop. The bottom wrestler's got good hand control. Goodsell can't figure out what to do with his hand as long as it's trapped, but he slips a leg in. Walnut Grove has his head on the mat. Can Goodsell take advantage of this somewhat of a tactical error? Just leaving your head on the mat, nothing good happens from there.
You know, I think the Walnut Grove wrestler started off with so much activity that he might have worn himself out there. Because you see he stopped that level of movement from bottom.
And Goodsell gets the fall, which was kind of predictable once the Walnut Grove wrestler just left his head on the mat for so long.
Right now we have Nick Moffitt coming up versus Austin Whitley. Moffitt, a sophomore at Lovett, who will be wrestling a junior in Whitley. I want to point out that John Goodsell was a 113-pounder. He was wrestling 120 in that last match. Coach Maldonado is really trying to find good matchups for these wrestlers early in the season and get them tested.
So Moffitt's into this collar tie position with the inside tie with his right hand, but he can't do anything with it. Some nice level changes, but he wants to go back into that collar tie position. The Walnut Grove wrestler drops in for an ankle pick, gets the takedown. That was a nice level change.
Chris, I see the football players just ending practice are in here, wishing they were out here on the mat. We see our heavyweight over there, Stimmel, and our 220. They're wishing they could be here with their teammates, but they need to go try to win a state title first in football.
Walnut Grove wrestler with the deep half. Moffitt's trying to fight. He really needs to look away from that half, but he just can't get his head around. Gets flipped to his back.
That's a tight half.
And Walnut Grove gets the fall.
That's another one where our wrestler bumped up in weight class, and we had a junior versus a senior. Coach Maldonado is really not scared to test these boys early in the season. Next we have 8th grader Christopher Mance. Christopher Mance is going to be wrestling at 138 pounds versus Zeb Dawkins. Mance, a multi-time state champ in middle school and youth ranks. This is a part of this young Lovett team that's moving up.
So we have a collar tie from the Walnut Grove wrestler. Mance with the sweep single, switches off to a double. Back into that single leg position. There's a height advantage here for the Walnut Grove wrestler. May be able to scramble out, but he can't. Mance with that cross wrist to a, looks like he's looking for a tilt here, potentially. That cross wrist, that elbow blocked off. Switching off to potentially a stack, but it looks like he may be setting up a cradle. He gets that head in the side. This looks like he's locking up a pretty tight cradle, but he can't finish it. Back to that tight waist chop. The bottom wrestler's doing a really good job fighting for hand control, keeping the space. Tries a Granby roll, but Mance rolls with it. Uh-oh, stack position. Back to that same cradle. This time, I think it's a lot tighter than he had it before.
Yeah, he resets that position to try to push him over to his back.
He's in a weird position, not really a position to score from, but he starts getting back swipes.
See if he tries to flip over and get on top
24
here.
seconds to work this position. And Mance with the fall.
Very solid start to the season for the 8th grader. Now here we've got Aiden Kaufman. He'll be wrestling again. Aiden will be wrestling against I have to look here. It's not on our sheet.
It's not on our sheet. It looked like they sent the wrong wrestler out there. They're sending another wrestler out for Aiden.
Aiden has the nickname of Bear.
It's a great
sometimes
nickname.
Sometimes he wrestles like a bear. Let's see if he can get a bear hug.
He goes double unders, and he's looking for that body lock, which some call a bear hug. Could he get it? No, he switches off to a front headlock, to a go behind, gets the first two. Great action there from Kaufman.
He's really good in that go behind position. He's shown that over the years. Kaufman wrestling on our youth program and middle school program. That's his go-to scoring move on his feet.
He has that tight 2-on-1. A lot of wrestlers go for a tilt from this position, and he tries to push him over, can't quite get it. Kaufman sucks that arm in again, looking for that tilt, and he gets the back points. And looks like he picks up 2 back points from there. Nice work from Bear Kaufman. And he's looking for a stack. He has it locked up tight. That's a tight stack, and it's
that's a nice pin
a
there.
fall. Nice bounce back match for Bear Kaufman.
See if we could see what weight this is. Is this Will Lecomte again?
And the Lovett wrestler just takes ground. They're in some light hand fighting, but nobody's really. Oh, arm drag from Lovett to a front headlock. Grabs that ankle, maybe has a cradle he can set up here. He gets that cradle locked up, just can't quite get to the back points, but he switches off to another cross-face cradle.
It's a good transition between those two cradles.
Can't quite get there. The Walnut Grove wrestler is being pretty stout there on bottom to try to keep those back points from rolling up. There's a leg thrown in from Lovett. Stretches him out, flattens him out, crossface. Great technique the way he stretched him out and switched off to that crossface. Wow. Great pin from Lovett. That chain wrestling was picture perfect.
Yeah, the top wrestling was very solid there. I like to see the aggressiveness.
We probably saw 4 or 5 different pinning combinations. He went from a near side cradle to a crossface cradle, put a leg in, went to a crossface Turk and got the pin. It's exactly what you want to see at this point in the season. You want to see your wrestlers chain wrestling through multiple positions and scoring a lot of points.
I think there's some confusion of who's coming up next, so just hold on for a couple of minutes as they figure it out. At this point, the coaches are just matching some of the kids up, so we don't have a roster here.
So
we'll just
Walnut
go by
Grove
teams.
with the really fast takedown at the beginning of the match. But Lovett doesn't hang around on bottom. They keep moving. Still, the Walnut Grove wrestler's still in control in the top position, so there hasn't been a position change yet. It's still 2-0 Walnut Grove. But Lovett is putting in some great scrambles to try to score some points, but nothing yet. He's looking for the reversal. He may want to look for an escape instead and not get caught underneath. He's still fighting. 59 seconds left in the first period. Lovett down 2-0. Looking to come out the back door. Get that reversal. He's right there for it. He has to step over, take control. The referee still has not given any change of position points yet for the Lovett wrestler.
The Lovett wrestler failed to step over his ankle there, which is ultimately why he didn't get those points.
30 seconds left. There's been some great scrambling so far in this first period, but we only have 2 points on the board. With all the action we've had, not many points going up. Referee stops it for potentially dangerous.
I believe this is Adams Hall from Lovett here. Let's see if he can make something happen in the final 10 seconds of this period.
He's flattened out. Can't score a lot of points when you're on your belly, so he has to get back to his base. A lot of action there in that first period, but we only have 2 points on the board. So Lovett defers. Walnut Grove takes bottom. Hall doing his best to keep control of the Walnut Grove wrestler. Dives in for that cradle, but can't get it locked up. The Walnut Grove wrestler gets control of that wrist. This is a great position for him to get an escape, but Hall is able to maintain control by breaking down Walnut Grove flat to his belly. Hall can't just ride here in the second period. He needs to put some points on the board.
It seems like he's getting his wrist controlled quite a bit from top, which is causing an issue.
And 2 more on the board for Walnut Grove. So we have a 4-0 match for Walnut Grove. 1 minute left in the second period. We have a head lever here for Walnut Grove. This is not a good position if you're Hall. You don't want to give up that wrist like that. Potentially a half Nelson following that head lever. But Lovett's able to fight back, but he has to get his head off the mat. And he doesn't get his head off the mat fast enough and gets called for stalling.
That head lever can be a very painful position with that leverage on the shoulder. You could see it there in that ride.
If Lovett's not careful here, they're going to get called for stalling again and give up another point. He's going to have to keep moving on bottom and try to put together a series of moves. But Walnut Grove is a hard crossface to get back points. And that's 2 more points for Walnut Grove. We have a 6-0 match heading into the third period. Lovett will have choice.
Lovett has choice here, Chris. If you're coaching, what do you choose? What do you think?
I think I'm going to go back neutral. I think that's our best option.
Thought he might have had some pitting combinations there from top that he might have got. Looks like Coach Maldonado also wants neutral. He's coaching him to look for those underhooks and throw. So Coach Maldonado wants to see a big move out of him from his feet.
That would be an exciting finish of this match if Hall can dig some underhooks, look for that body lock that we've seen. But the Walnut Grove wrestler stays aggressive, dives in for a double leg, and Hall's just not able to sprawl and gives up another 2 points. We have an 8-0 match.
That gives Walnut Grove the major decision in this match so far. Like to see Lovett be able to score some points off of bottom here and cut into that lead.
If he could just keep his head off the mat and work back to his base, he could have a good start. He gets to his base. Oh my God, a turn of events. But he's so close for the Lovett wrestler. Hall was so close to getting in a pinning position. It's unfortunate he couldn't hold his opponent there.
He wants to bring him back to his feet here, I think, and look for that throw that Coach Maldonado is yelling at him for.
He doesn't want to give his legs up, though. He's just too high here in this position. And that's 2 takedown. I think Hall's going to want to look for a crossface cradle or an Ed Roof cradle. But he drives his opponent over.
He was in this position before, and he just didn't get that underhook in order to finish it in both instances.
Hall's just a little bit too sloppy in a few of his pinning combinations and can't hold them.
Just a small tactical error I'm sure Coach Maldonado will be looking at.
This early in the season, you can expect that from some wrestlers. I think if you wrestle this match again later on in the season, you might see a different outcome. We have 20 seconds left here in the third period, and Walnut Grove's in complete control. We may get another stalling call here if Hall doesn't. Like clockwork, there it was.
It's like the ref was listening to you.
I hope not.
So the final score is 12-4 in favor of Walnut Grove.
Hall did a good job scoring a few points there in the final period. Made it a lot more interesting. Had a chance for a pinning combination, but just couldn't hold on.
I think we're going to see Jake Kennedy here again, freshman from Lovett. He's had 2 dominating wins today. Not sure his opponent from Walnut Grove. Workman is his name. We do not have a grade on him. Sometimes you need to take your warm-ups off before you enter the circle.
Kennedy really likes to be physical with his collar ties. Snap, gets to that knee latch position, gets a quick 2. Kennedy typically doesn't mess around. He's not going to be one to play in any hand fighting positions for too long before he gets to his leg attacks. From here, we like to see, stacks and tilts from Kennedy. And he almost got that stack. Now he's looking for that tilt. He's on the edge of the match, so Kennedy probably wants to be careful, see if he can circle the Walnut Grove wrestler back to the center.
You know, as dominant as Kennedy is on the wrestling mat, most people don't know he's actually one of the top tennis players in the country. And they say actually his grip strength from playing so much tennis really helps him in wrestling. And you can see as he dominates wrist control in every position from top, bottom, and neutral.
Absolutely. That shows a lot in his cross wrist tilt series. He's known to score a lot of points from tilts. Let's see here with 59 seconds left in the first period if we see one of those tilts. And maybe not. Kennedy's going to stand him up, give up the point, and get back into that neutral position. The Walnut Grove took advantage of Kennedy's aggressiveness to get in on a leg, but Kennedy's hips are just too strong. His hips are just too strong for the Walnut Grove wrestler. He's able to flatten him out with that cross-face ankle control and get two. Slips a leg in, and he's looking for that. He's looking for something out of the leg riding position. Back to that 2-on-1 stack, and there it is. You get two back points from the tilt position. 10 seconds left, potentially no fall there, but 3 back points. Six scores 8-1 now, heading into the second period.
Not sure the weight class they're wrestling at, but pretty distinct size advantage. Looks like the Walnut Grove wrestlers has definitely got some size on Kennedy. I know Kennedy planning to wrestle 113 pounds this year.
Kennedy with the switch off the whistle, and he gets the easy 2 reversal to the claw ride. I would expect Kennedy to go back to that tilt position pretty quickly, but instead he puts a leg in to a power half, and he's trying to sink that half in fairly deep, but the Walnut Grove wrestler is trying to peel it.
This could be a very painful position for the defensive wrestler.
Still no back points yet, but there we go. And this is tight. But the Walnut Grove wrestler remains resilient and fights through it, gets into an advantageous position. But Kennedy drives him right back to his back and maintains control. The score is 13-1, 50 seconds left in the second period. And that tennis grip is being shown right now, that 2-on-1. Gets that bar in. We've seen this bar several times today, but Kennedy can't keep it.
Started off with the reinforced bar there and tried to transition it, and that's where the Walnut Grove wrestler was really just able to pull out of it.
Kennedy is doing some really good chain wrestling from position to position, and he transitions into that half and picks up 2 back points with 5 seconds left in the period. That's what you want to see from your wrestler, scoring at the end of periods.
Wrestling to the end of the whistle, right? You see the wrestlers that are looking up at the scoreboard just hoping that time's going to run out, and they can make it to the next period. And then you see wrestlers that are trying to score every second, every part of the period, and Kennedy's one of those wrestlers.
Again to that switch. Scores 2 and gets the tech fall. The minute and 56 seconds left in the third period. Technical fall for Jake Kennedy, the freshman from
Very
Lovett.
dominating performance by him today. These young wrestlers of Lovett coming up are really going to make some noise in Class AA.
So here we go again with Kale Kuski, the 8th grader, in his third match of the day. So far, he's pinned all his opponents. Collar tied to a sweep dump position. Keeps that elbow in control. Transitions to a cross-face cradle. Immediately into back points. Now, wow, that is a dominant performance. Non-stop movement. Multiple pinning positions within the first 15 seconds of that match. Ultimately ends with a cross-face cradle and a pin.
And I think we've got one more match today. We've got Logan Lutz versus Nix from Walnut Grove to finish. Lovett's had a dominating performance overall across all the matches wrestled. I know they gave up some points from forfeits, but overall in matches wrestled, Lovett has dominated both opponents today.
Lutz in there with that collar tie, elbow control, wrist control transition. Gets the front headlock, snaps him, Walnut Grove wrestler down. He's looking for a cradle, gets it immediately, and gets the pin. 23 seconds into the first period to end our broadcast today. Love it. Logan Lutz, the freshman, finishes off our broadcast with a pin.
You know, I have some final thoughts here. You know, I think we're seeing a trend here. A lot of these wrestlers that came from the youth and middle school program of Lovett are really stepping in. You saw it from Lutz there. You saw it from Kuski as an 8th grader, from Mance, from Kennedy, right? We're seeing it from all these wrestlers. They're able to step up into high school and wrestle with those kids immediately as freshmen. And I think that's going to be a big advantage for this Lions program moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have a strong youth program like Lovett, you keep a pipeline of wrestlers that make your program year after year competitive. And I think that's exactly what showed up today.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the game or to the match. Please do not forget to follow Lovett Athletics on Instagram and Twitter.
And I want to say thank you to Jim Clausen and John Kittis and all the production crew. And we want to thank you for joining us here in Waller's Gym. The final score for our last dual meet was Walnut Grove 39, Lovett 36, with Lovett giving up 18 points in forfeits at the end of the match due to the football playoffs this weekend not having a full team. But Lovett had a great performance. But unfortunately not being able to pull out the victory, losing by 3 points. But it was a great matchup, some really great wrestling. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us.
Yeah, the production team, again, thanks. I mean, the production team is first class here at Lovett. Well, we're signing off now. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.